Test, I'm audible. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Charlene, Ihsan, Muhammad, can you hear me clearly? Great. Yes, welcome back, everyone. My name is Haidir, and today I'm gonna be your tutor only for today, only for tonight, because your uh mentor is not available at the moment. So I'm acting as your uh teacher for just one day. Before we begin anything, number one, can you please rename yourself to be just a nickname? For example, my device, my Zoom account is named just by my first name. It's just Haidir. And can you please do the same? Just use or rename your nickname. Thank you, Sarlen. Thank you, Taki. Thank you, Ranga. Ihsan Andi, can you please just choose your nickname, please? The reason why I'm asking you this, because next time in the main activities, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, and your nickname is going to be easier for me to call out your name. So our communication, our engagement would be more comfortable. Thank you, everyone. And number two, if you can you please be on cam so I can see your face, I can see your beauty, and I will not, you know, be feeling lonely if I'm just looking at myself. I would be so happy and delighted if I can see your face, everyone. So if you can please be on cam, it would be great to see each other. Thank you. Okay. While waiting for you to be ready to be on cam, and before we begin our IELTS listening and reading review questions and answers, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Charlene, did you attend the previous meeting? Charlene?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh, and what have you learned so far? What did you learn in the previous meeting, Charlene?
Previous meeting we discussed about IELTS speaking part 3, and we review with exercise part 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. So the previous meeting was about speaking activities, yeah, IELTS speaking practice. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Charlene, for sharing your review and summary. Taki chat me on the box. Maaf Kak, saya tidak bisa on cam dulu karena saya sedang di luar. Oke, Taki, thank you so much for confirming. What about you, Iksan? Can you be on cam, please? And Rangga, can you please be on cam? Charlene, can you be on cam, please?
Sorry, my laptop camera is error.
It's all right, it's all right. Welcome, Lingga Eka Putra LS. Welcome back, Lingga. Can you please rename yourself just to be a nickname? For example,
Okay,
Rangga,
sure.
Taki, Iksan, Charlen, and Haider. Thank you. And Lingga, can you also be on cam
Oh, I
tonight?
couldn't on cam tonight. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay. Just changing your nickname,
Yeah.
please. Thank you. Okay. It's all right, Iksan. Thank you so much. All right, let's begin, everyone. Today we're gonna be talking about today's supposed to be the second meeting. Yeah. Uh, who is your tutor, Iksan? I'm sorry, who's the name Tio, right? Kak Tio, yeah? Charlene, is it Kak Tio? Lucky?
Uh, Kak Davi
We're with
Oh,
tutors.
Duffy. Yeah.
okay, Kak Davi, yes. All right. Your screen sharing is paused. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Loading.
Loading. Let me just try again. What about now?
Yeah, it's clear already. Oh, now it's loading again.
Hmm. What happened? Now it's visible, right? When I'm trying to slideshow, it shows that my screen sharing is paused. Hmm. What about now, guys? Can you see my slide?
Still loading.
No, it's still loading.
Hmm. Okay. All right then. I apologize for the technicalities problems. Can we just do it like this? Is that okay? Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right. Okay, today we're gonna be doing the IELTS listening and reading activities. It's supposed to be the second meeting. It's gonna be reviewing some listening questions and reading questions and how to answer those types of questions. Yes? Sherlyn told me that previously you have talk and discuss and learn about the IELTS speaking practices. Now it's going to be more about the receptive skills. Yes. The resources that we are using are referred to these three books. It's from Cambridge, IELTS Cambridge series. And in the second meeting, we're going to be learning about this three types of questions in the IELTS listening section. There are matching feature, multiple choices, and sentence completion. There are other types for your information, but today we're going to be focusing on these three specific question types. Okay? But before I begin, can anyone tell me what you know about the IELTS listening section? You may unmute yourself or just chat me on the box. What have you known about the IELTS listening sections? How many questions will you get? How many parts? How long is the duration? How does it look like in the IELTS listening section? Anyone? All right, let me just call out your names then. Kintara, you there? Kintara, you there?
Yes.
Yes, what do you know about the IELTS listening section, Kintara?
There are three parts, I think,
There are three
if I'm
parts.
not mistaken.
Yeah? And what else do you know about it?
And there are various types of questions.
There are
Uh,
various question types, yeah?
Multiple choice,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like matching feature, sentence completion, and like the one where the answer is like true, false, or not given, yes, no, or not given.
Anything else?
I think that's all.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Kintara. Can you please be on cam, Kintara? Is it possible for you to be on cam tonight? Rangga?
I think it might depend on my connection.
Okay. Yeah, try your best. Thank you, Kintara. Rangga, you there?
Mm.
Yes, yeah.
Rangga, do you agree with Kintara? What do you know about the IELTS listening sections?
Yes, I agree, and maybe I just add something that it contains 40 numbers of question.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's all that I know.
What did you say, Rangga? Your voice is
40
very low.
numbers, 40 numbers of
Oh,
question.
yes, you're right. You're right. There are 40 questions in the
Yeah.
IELTS listening test, yeah?
Mhm.
Do you know these 40 questions are divided into how many parts?
Not sure.
Kintara said there are 3 parts. Is that right?
I'm not sure actually. Maybe it's yeah.
It's,
I think it's three. Yeah.
it's all right. Thank you, Randa, for trying lucky. Is it Lucky or Lucky? Lucky?
Well, Indonesian pronunciation is Lucky, but both are same. Whether you call me Lucky or Lucky.
What do you prefer?
Lucky. Okay.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Do you agree with Kintara and Ranga? What do you know about the IELTS listening test?
I thought it is 4 parts, I guess. 4 parts. For reading, there are 3 passages, but for listening, is it 4 parts if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, you're right. So in the IELTS listening test, there are 4 parts. In total, there are 40 questions, right? And you also write about the IELTS reading test, there are 3 passages. Okay, Kintara, so listening, 4 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. IELTS reading, 3 passages, passage 1, passage 2, passage 3. So, Lucky, if in the IELTS listening test, there are 4 parts, and in total, there are 40 questions. How many questions in each part?
10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what is the difference between part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4?
Well, I actually don't remember, but if I'm not mistaken, in the first part, it will be two two people do conversation, and the other part is one person do monologue, and I don't remember the rest.
Yeah. You're getting there. You're quite right. You're on the right track. So part 1, you're right. It's a dialogue, right? Between 2 speakers, right? And most of the times, the one speaker is very clear, but the second speaker is not really clear. It's like on the phone, one is very clear, very audible, crystal clear, and the other is like very far away, like very distant because they are on the phone. That's the first part. It's a dialogue between 2 speakers, right? What about part 2? Ihsan, do you know anything about part 2?
Yes, I think in part two there is gonna be a monologue,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's a person who will elaborate about something,
Mm-hmm.
such as like a phenomenon or historical places,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
like
you're
that.
right. What? And then,
No, no, no.
what about part 3?
Part three, I think it's more likely to be a monologue.
Are you sure?
No, 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 no. I'm not sure. Uh, there's gonna be a dialogue between more than two people.
Okay. What about part 4?
Part four is gonna be a monologue, but in a long. uh speeches, I think.
Yes, you're right. So part 2 and part 4 are gonna be monologue. The difference, the distinction between the two is that part 4 is gonna be longer and it's gonna be more academic. It's gonna be more formal, like a lecture. It's gonna be in the part 4. Comparatively, however, in part 2, it's still gonna be a monologue, but maybe longer, maybe shorter, but it's gonna be general information. The details that you're gonna listen to in the second part, it's not gonna be academic. It's not gonna be as academic as part 4, right? It's not like a lecture. In part 2, it's gonna be just general information like announcement in the zoo, for example. Yeah? So that is the distinction between the monologue in part 2 versus part 4. But your answers regarding part 3, it's not necessarily right yet. So I'm gonna ask Taki. Taki, you there? Taki, are you there? Taki? I think Taki is still on the way. Okay, Taki, can you speak up? Can you unmute yourself? And you don't need to send me direct messages or private messages. You can just send me the messages on public so anyone can read. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Take your time. Take your time. Safe travels, yeah? Uh, Charlene, you there?
Yes.
Charlene, what do you know about the IELTS listening section in part 3?
If I remember correctly, is about like to God explain uh ex we given a map, so we listening the guide tell us where the place is.
Yes, yes, you're right. So is it gonna be a monologue or dialogue in part 3? Charlene. Charlene, are you still
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Is it gonna be a monologue or dialogue in part 3?
Monologue.
Not so part 3 is not a monologue, everyone, yeah? But thank you for trying, Charlene. How do I pronounce your name, by the way? Charlene or Charlene?
Sarlin.
Oh, sorry for my mispronunciation of your name. Charlene, and everyone else, part 3 is not a monologue. It can be a dialogue or discussion among 3 people or more. Yeah. So it's either dialogue. Part 1 must be a dialogue, right? 2 people, 2 speakers in the first part. Part 3 can be a dialogue or more, can be called discussions. More than 2 people can be 3 people. For example, one teacher and 2 students talking about their project in the school, something like that. Yeah. So those are the differences and similarities in IELTS listening tests, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. Hopefully you have noted in your notes or in your book or in your digital notes. And hopefully you have remembered and understood the distinctions among them. Okay, now let's do the practice, okay? To begin with, we're gonna start with the matching feature, yeah? Rangga, can you please read these 3 tips from Kobi? The first one.
The first step to answer this question is to note down its keyword from the available answer choices A to G.
Mm-hmm. And from the sample question here, what the available answer choices are?
A, B, C, D, E, F.
Okay. Yeah, so that is the first thing you need to do. You need to read the options, the possible answer choices here, right? How many are there, Ranga?
6.
And how many questions are there?
4.
So how many distractors would be?
2.
Exactly, right? So how many right answers would be?
4.
So be mindful of that, yeah? Next, Kintara, can you please read the second one out loud?
Okay. The sequence of answer choices will be mentioned randomly in the recording. So prepare yourself to understand the paraphrasing and think in synonyms. Remember, you won't hear the exact same word in the answer choices. There will be many distractions to trick you. Focus and stick to the keywords.
Do you understand the second point here, Kintara? What do you understand about it?
It's not in chronological order.
The options or the questions?
The answer.
Exactly, the answers are not mentioned in order. What about the questions?
I think the questions will be in order.
Exactly,
Just the answers will be random.
exactly. And another point is about paraphrasing. Why?
Because it will not have the same words as the available answers.
What is that? Yes, you're right. So it means in the audio, they wouldn't say training courses, food stocks, first aid, and so on. They would mention the other words in synonyms related to them. So for example, can you give us the examples of synonyms for these options? Any ideas about the synonyms?
For staff discounts, maybe they will use uh, a sale
Which one?
or training course. Maybe for they will use the word class, not
Yes.
course.
Yes, that's the first one. Luki, can you try another synonym, please?
I have no idea so far.
It's okay. Iksan?
No clue, sir.
No clues, all right. Food stocks can be changed to food supplies. Yes, you're right, Taki. Taki, can you please no, is it direct message? Guys, can you see Taki's messages? I don't think so, right? Because it is sent to me directly or privately. Taki, next time, can you choose to send your messages to all people meeting on the group chat so everyone can see your messages because your answers are great. It contributes to the class discussion, yeah? Basically, Taki said on the chat box, food stocks can be changed to food supplies. Stocks, synonyms, supplies. Right. Thank you, Taki. Rangga,
Yes.
can you try another synonym?
Mm, I got no clue.
It's okay. Charlene?
First aid, emergency medical aid.
Yeah, possibly. And timetables can be schedules, yeah, perhaps. All right, Charlene, can you please read the third one?
If you skip a number, you can always guess the answer and make sure to use your logic.
Mhm. For me personally, if you have lost any numbers, for example, while listening to the audio and you got the answer for number 17, but then you lost it when it comes to number 18. And when you realize the audio is already talking about Dexter wheels, what would you do, Lucky?
Just guess for the number 17 and 18.
What if you cannot guess anything because you have no clue? You don't remember, you haven't heard anything about David Field.
Well, I try my best to answer number 19 and 20 correctly, and then I answered the number 17 and 18 by the rest of the options.
Yeah, yeah, it's very wise to do that. My personal suggestion for you, leave it and move on. Because sometimes you cannot move on because you are very overthinking about this and you get so stressful. Oh my God, I don't want to miss this. And because you're overthinking, overdoing it, and you're trying to guess it, but you cannot, the consequences would be, the implications would be, you also lose number 19 and 20, right? That's why the moment, the fact that you know and you are aware that you miss it and you have lost it, skip it, move on, let go, ikhlas, legowo, it's okay. Fokuskan pertanyaan selanjutnya saja ya. That would be more strategic and wiser to me. Okay, that's all about the theory. Now, let's do the practice. Please prepare your a piece of paper and a pencil or paper, a pen if you are planning to take the paper-based test. But if you're planning to do the computer-based test or CBT, you may just answer on the chat box, yeah? Type it down on the chat box, okay? I cannot slideshow, so I'm just gonna do this like this. Is it okay?
You will hear a communication studies student talking to his tutor about optional courses for...
Is it audible, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, the first practice is section 3 or part 3, number 21 to 25. So you have 5 questions, okay? And there are 3 options here. I'm gonna turn off my cam and I'm gonna turn off my audio as well. So the audio from the slide would be more crystal clear, yeah? I'm gonna play the audio in 3, 2, 1. Good luck, everyone.
You will hear a communication studies student talking to his tutor about optional courses for the next semester.
Come in. Oh, hello, Jack. Have a seat. Right. You said you wanted to see me to talk about your options next semester?
That's right. We have to decide by the end of next week. Really, I'd like to do all 5 options, But we have to choose two, don't we?
Yes, but the choice depends on your major to some extent. You're majoring in communication studies, aren't you?
That's right.
So, for example, the media studies option will cover quite a lot of the same area you did in the core module on mass communications this semester, the development of the media through the last 2 centuries in relation to political and social issues.
Well, that was interesting, but I've decided I'd rather do something completely new. There's a women's studies option, isn't there?
Yes, Women and Power. Again, it has a historical focus. It aims to contextualize women's studies by looking at the legal and social situation in the 19th and early 20th centuries.
So it would be useful if I intended to specialize in women's studies, but I'm not sure I do actually.
Well, it might still be useful to give you an idea of the issues involved. It's taught by Dr. Steed.
Oh, really? I'll sign up for that then. What about the option on culture and society?
That addresses the historical debate on the place of culture since the Industrial Revolution in Britain.
So a historical focus again?
Do I get the message you're not so keen on history?
Well, it's just that we seem to have done quite a lot this semester. Anyway, I'll think about that one.
If you're interested in a course focusing on current issues, there's the option on identity and popular culture that approaches the subject through things like contemporary film, adverts, soap operas, and so on.
That sounds interesting. Can you tell me who runs it?
Well, it's normally Dr. Stevens, but he's on sabbatical next semester, so I'm not sure who will be running it. It should be decided by next week, though.
Right. Well, I might wait until then to decide. And the last option is Introduction to Cultural Theory, isn't it? I'm quite interested in that too. I was talking to one of the second-year students, and she said it was really useful. It made a lot of things fall into place.
Yes, but in fact, in your major, you'll have covered a lot of that already in Communications 102, so that might be less useful than some of the others.
Oh, I'll forget about that one then.
Now, while you're here, we could also discuss how you're getting on with your core module assignment.
All right. Have you got the answers, everyone? Thank you, Taki, for submitting your answers. Thank you, Kintara. The others? Thank you, Rangga. Thank you, Loki. What about... Thank you, Iksan. How many are you? Thank you, Charlene. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, complete. Thank you, everyone, for succeeding it. Now let's discuss it, yeah? I noticed there are quite few differences among your answers. So let's check it together. Number 21, Taki, can you please unmute yourself and explain why you chose your answer for that answer for number 21? Taki, are you still there? Oh, no, it's all right, Taki, it's okay. You cannot unmute. All right. Kintara. Kintara, what's your answer for number 21 and why you chose that answer?
For number 21, I choose C because I think that he said that he already learned it and it won't be useful for him. So
Mhm.
he didn't choose that class.
Okay. Any other clues you noticed from the audio? Kintara, that's really great. That's really great. But there's one tipping point from the audio. Your answer is right. It's C. But there's one clue, another clue that can be the tipping point, yeah?
Or maybe something he said, or something the
Yeah.
teacher said. But I don't remember exactly.
It's okay, it's okay.
Mm,
Anyone
mm.
catches that? Why he will not do media studies?
You will hear
Of next week. Really, I'd like to do all 5 options, but we have to choose 2, don't we?
Yes, but the choice depends on your major to some extent. You're majoring in communication studies, aren't you?
That's right.
So, for example, the media studies option will cover quite a lot of the same area you did in the core module on mass communications this semester, the development of the media through the last 2 centuries in relation to political and social issues.
Well, that was interesting, but I've decided I'd rather do something completely new.
He said he decided to what? Doesn't he say,
You
I'm not interested?
he
No,
wants to do.
Taki.
Yeah.
No, Taki, he didn't say he's not interested. So be careful, but thank you for trying. Did anyone say something? Kintara or Charlene? Okay.
He said he wanted to do something new.
Yes, he said he's decided to try something that is completely new, yeah? So media studies is not completely new because of why?
It's the same thing he learned in the core module.
Yeah.
Like,
Media studies it's a module. So module is mata kuliah kalau di kita di Indonesia ya kita bilangnya matkul. In universities in the UK we say it modules. Media studies is one of the modules and it's not completely new because it is somehow similar to the major. Jurusannya kayak jurusannya komunikasi ya kalau nggak salah. All right, next. Thank you, Kintara. Rangga, can you please do number 22, please?
A, because he said that on the last sentence he will sign up to this
Yeah,
apa,
that is
this
the tipping
this
point.
topic. Yeah.
Yes, yes, he said, I'll sign up then for woman and power. But before that, there's a distractor. Did you catch the distractor?
Yes. Mm, but I forgot. The
Yes,
distractor it's gonna be he may or may not to do it, I guess.
yeah. So for your information, I haven't done this practice before. So when you were doing it, I was also doing it. And this is my notes. At first my answer was B. He may or may not do it because he said I'm not sure. But after that, the teacher was somehow trying to convince him and he said I'll sign up anyway. So my answer has been changed to A. So that shows you that distractors can be anywhere. So be mindful and be careful with that. Thank you, Ranggaya. Next,
Yes.
Lucky, can you please do number 23?
So I chose B for number 23, and I forgot why I chose it. I forgot already the conversation.
All right, let's check again.
There's a women's study. I'll sign up for that then. What about the option on culture and society?
That addresses the historical debate on the place of culture since the Industrial Revolution in Britain.
So, a historical focus again.
Do I get the message you're not so keen on history?
Well, it's just that we seem to have done quite a lot this semester. Anyway, I'll think about that one.
If you're interested in
Oh, he said, I think about that one. So it's not sure.
Yeah, that's the tipping point. Thank you, Lucky. Actually, in the real test, you don't need to write down your reasons why you chose that particular answer. But since we are still practicing it, I'm just wanting to show you the tipping point or the major clues why you should answer that option, yeah? Just to differentiate the clues, the right clues, and the distractors. Okay, but in your real test, you don't need to write down these clues. You don't need to. You just answer the choices. Type it down or write down the multiple choices. Okay. Thank you, Loki. Iksan, can you please do number 24?
Yes, I chose B for 24, but honestly, I don't really remember well the reason why.
It's okay, listen up. I'm gonna replay that part.
a course focusing on current issues, there's the option on identity and popular culture that approaches the subject through things like contemporary film, adverts, soap operas, and so on.
That sounds interesting. Can you tell me who runs it?
Well, it's normally Dr. Stevens, but he's on sabbatical next semester, so I'm not sure who will be running it. It should be decided by next week, though.
Right. Well, I might wait until then to decide. And the last option is...
Iksan, why he may or may not do it? Why he may or may not do it? Do the identity and popular culture module.
Okay, I think we did say he need to confirm the lecturer first before he decide which one he should choose.
Yes, you're right. So uh he might he might wait to decide after knowing the professor. Is it still Stefan or not? Thank you, Iksan. Last but not least, number 25. Charlene.
I chose C, but I don't remember the conversation.
Listen up.
It's Introduction to Cultural Theory, isn't it? I'm quite interested in that too. I was talking to one of the second-year students, and she said it was really useful. It made a lot of things fall into place.
Yes, but in fact, in your major, you'll have covered a lot of that already in Communications 102, so that might be less useful than some of the others.
Oh, I'll forget about that one then.
Now, while you're here,
Charlene?
I says he will forget about that one.
Yeah, so that's the end of the answer. Thank you so much, everyone, for trying these 5 multiple choices questions. It's very easy, simple, and clear and clean. Just be careful and be mindful of the distractors, yeah? Okay, next. Actually, there is another type of multiple choices like this. Oh no, it's just the same, but we wouldn't do this practice because we are running out of time. So please do it by yourself, yeah? For self-study. Oh no, that's not multiple choice, guys. I'm sorry. I meant to say it's matching questions. Now we're moving on to the multiple choice questions. Luki, can you please help me read the first recommendation or strategy from Kobe, please?
Yeah. This type of question is commonly found in section 2 and 3. You should note down the keywords and think in synonyms since everything will be paraphrased.
Okay, Luki, can you still Do you still remember what's the difference between section 2 and section 3, or part 2 and part 3?
The part 2 will be a monologue in general format, but the part 3 is dialogue between two or more people.
Yes, exactly. A dialogue or discussion for part 3 or section 3. Okay, so can you try to guess the paraphrasing system or the possible synonyms for these options highlighted in yellow and underlined?
Maybe students can become children.
Mm-hmm.
Want to keep, want to keep. I don't know. Maybe hold or something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Students, not all students are children. Yes, students can be children, teenagers, young adults, or adults, even elders. So students, anyone knows the synonym for students? I have two in my mind. Do you have any? Anyone? Synonyms for students?
Scholar, maybe?
Yeah, you can say scholars. Another? Chat box. Disciplines, perhaps? Another?
Pupils.
Pupils, yes. Pupils, students are the same. Last one. I think you know this word. Why you forgot? Start with L. L. E.
Learner.
Learners, exactly. Yes. And Iksan, can you please help me read the second strategy from Kobi, please?
Okay, no problem. All options will be discussed, but only one is correct. Watch out for distractors.
Mm-hmm. Again, distractors. Yeah, that is the beauty of IELTS. Distractions in the IELTS listening and reading test. Charlene, third strategy from Kobe, please. Out
The
loud.
first the first answer that you heard is not guaranteed that it to be the final answer.
Again, distractors. Yeah. So when you got your answer, make sure you listen until the end, because it can be changed uh by any other information. So please be careful. All right. Do you have any questions so far? No? All right, then, if you don't have any questions, let's try the practice. Before we proceed to the practice for multiple choices, you have to be aware that there's another type of multiple choices. Kobe said it's a complex multiple choice, where it looks like this. There are two possible or right answers among 5 options here. So it's just not one question, 3 options, one answer, no, but it can be look like this. Just be mindful, yeah, and be aware. All right, we're gonna do this.
Here, we could also discuss how you're getting on with your core module assignment.
Part 2. You will hear a woman giving a presentation about a holiday on an island in Britain that her company organises. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
All right. I hope that is clear. Part 2, a monologue about general information. It's not going to be that academic or it's not going to be that formal. For questions 11 until 14, I'm going to play the audio in 3, 2, 1. Good luck.
Part 2. You will hear a woman giving a presentation about a holiday on an island in Britain that her company organises. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning. My name's Erica Matthews, and I'm the owner of Matthews Island Holidays, a company set up by my parents. Thank you for coming to this presentation, in which I hope to interest you in what we have to offer. We're a small family-run company, and we believe in the importance of the personal touch. So we don't aim to compete with other companies on the number of customers. What we do is build on our many years' experience, more than almost any other rail holiday company, to ensure we provide perfect holidays in a small number of destinations, which we've got to know extremely well. I'll start with our 6-day Isle of Man holiday. This is a fascinating island in the Irish Sea, with Wales to the south, England to the east, Scotland to the north, and Northern Ireland to the west. Our holiday starts in Heysham, where your tour manager will meet you. Then you'll travel by ferry to the Isle of Man. Some people prefer to fly from Luton instead, and another popular option is to go by train to Liverpool and take a ferry from there. You have 5 nights in the hotel, and the price covers 5 breakfasts and dinners, and lunch on the 3 days when there are organised trips. Day 4 is free, and most people have lunch in a cafe or restaurant in Douglas. The price of the holiday includes the ferry to the Isle of Man, all travel on the island, the hotel, and the meals I've mentioned. Incidentally, we try to make booking our holidays as simple and fair as possible. So, unlike with many companies, the price is the same whether you book 6 months in advance or at the last minute, and there's no supplement for single rooms in hotels. If you make a booking, then need to change the start date, for example because of illness, you're welcome to change to an alternative date or a different tour for a small administrative fee.
Thank you, Rangga, Luki, and Taki for answering your questions, for answering the questions. All right. I personally noticed that this specific multiple choices are the most difficult one for me. I'm not sure if it's the same to you. That's why I'm gonna replay the audio once more time, but please make sure confirm your answers, make sure it's already right or not, and I want you to write down the tipping point or the clues that lead you to answer that particular answer. Okay, so I'm gonna replay the audio and I want you to write down the reasons why you answer or you chose that particular option. Okay, I'm going to replay the audio on 3, 2, 1. Good luck.
Part 2. You will hear a woman giving a presentation about a holiday on an island in Britain that her company organises. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning. My name's Erica Matthews, and I'm the owner of Matthews Island Holidays, a company set up by my parents. Thank you for coming to this presentation, in which I hope to interest you in what we have to offer. We're a small family-run company, and we believe in the importance of the personal touch. So we don't aim to compete with other companies on the number of customers. What we do is build on our many years' experience, more than almost any other rail holiday company, to ensure we provide perfect holidays in a small number of destinations, which we've got to know extremely well. I'll start with our 6-day Isle of Man holiday. This is a fascinating island in the Irish Sea, with Wales to the south, England to the east, Scotland to the north, and Northern Ireland to the west. Our holiday starts in Heysham, where your tour manager will meet you. Then you'll travel by ferry to the Isle of Man. Some people prefer to fly from Luton instead, and another popular option is to go by train to Liverpool and take a ferry from there. You have 5 nights in the hotel, and the price covers 5 breakfasts and dinners, and lunch on the 3 days when there are organised trips. Day 4 is free, and most people have lunch in a cafe or restaurant in Douglas. The price of the holiday includes the ferry to the Isle of Man, all travel on the island, the hotel, and the meals I've mentioned. Incidentally, we try to make booking our holidays as simple and fair as possible, so unlike with many companies, the price is the same whether you book 6 months in advance or at the last minute, and there's no supplement for single rooms in hotels. If you make a booking, then need to change the start date, for example because of illness, you're welcome to change to an alternative date or a different tour for a small administrative fee.
All right, everyone. I hope you have got all the answers. If you change your answer, you may change your answers. Please just resubmit your answers. Thank you, Loki. Any other resubmissions? You may resubmit now. Okay, I'm going to start with number 11 from Loki. Loki, can you please try number 11?
Okay, now I chose A for number 11 because it said that the words many years experience, and then she said that small numbers of destination, and also not compete for number of customers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, that's great, Loki. That's great clues coming from you. But there's another one that is really important. Charlene, can you please add your tipping point? What's your biggest clue that lead you to answer alpha?
She says more than almost any others.
Yes, that's the key. That's the tipping point, everyone. So the keywords here has been in business for longer than most of its competitors. Longer, which means the company started first, right? Years before. And it is proven by the speaker saying, we have been here in the business more than almost all other companies. Yeah. So that is the paraphrasing synonym from the speaker. So 11 is alpha. Thank you, Luke and Charlene. Next, Kintara, number 12.
For number 12, I choose B because the speaker said the tour starts in Asia and the tour manager will meet the customers there.
Did you catch or do you still remember about the distractors?
I think for Luton, like people can fly from Luton, but the tour manager don't meet them there.
What about Liverpool?
I think it was a train, catching a train from Liverpool. I don't
Yes.
really remember.
Well said, Kintara. So everything has been explained by Kintara. Thank you so much. The right answer for number 12 is B. Bravo. Next, Ranga, can you please do number 13 and analyze it, please?
Uh, the woman said that gonna be a lunch for 3 days. So the package is already included for lunch for 3 lunches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about the other two distractors, 4 and
Five.
5? Why is it not the right answers?
5 C, 5 dinner and breakfast.
Mm-hmm. What about 4?
For B.
Okay.
Part 2.
Got to know extremely well. I'll start with our 6-day Isle of Man holiday. This is a fascinating island in the Irish Sea, with Wales to the south, England to the east. Then you'll travel by ferry to the Isle of Man. Some people prefer to fly from Luton. You have 5 nights in the hotel, and the price covers 5 breakfasts and dinners, and lunch on the 3 days when there are organised trips. Day 4 is free, and most people have lunch in a cafe or restaurant in Douglas. The price of the holiday includes the...
Yes, you're right, Ranga. 5 is the number of the days, and for the breakfast and for the dinners as well. What about B? 4. Why is it wrong?
Day 4 is free.
Yes, so it's not about lunches, yeah? That's why. Thank you, Ranga, for helping me out. Next, number 14, Ihsan.
Yeah, I think number 14 is C, transferring to another date, because she mentioned about the additional fee in the last part,
Mm-hmm.
and she mentioned it after talking about the transferring booking date.
Yes,
So
you're right,
that's the
Ihsan.
main point, I think.
Yes, that is the tipping point, and that is the main clue. But did you also catch the synonyms for transferring to another day?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it,
It's
but I
okay.
also I just have remember the pay extra. She paraphrased the pay extra for additional fee.
Yes, also pay extra. The speaker mentioned about a small administrative fee, right? That's also referring to pay extra. but your synonym is also right. Anyone catches the synonym for transferring to another day? Listen up.
Ferry to the Isle of Man or at the last minute, and there's no supplement for single rooms in hotels. If you make a booking, then need to change the start date, for example because of illness, you're welcome to change to an alternative date or a different tour for a small administrative fee.
Transferring to another day? Any synonyms from the speaker?
Change to alternative date.
Yes, a change of a start date, yeah? Yes, you're right. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much for doing this and great job. I have to skip this multiple choice question type, so please do it by yourself at home because I'm assuming it's available on the Google Classroom, yeah? And the audio is also a hyperlink integrated on the slides. I apologize for this workload. We're running out of time because we have to do the reading passages as well. Okay, last but not least, let's do the final question type that we'll discuss in today's meeting. It's about sentence completion skill. Charlene, would you mind reading the first strategy from Kobi, please?
Yes. Don't forget to check the instruction to see how many words you can have for your answers.
For your information, previously IELTS listening and reading tests, in the past they would ask us to write more than 2 words or 3 words, but now, according to my friends and my colleagues' reviews, it tend to be just 1 word only. The reason why the IELTS creators make this new policy or instruction is because it's more inclusive and it's more favorable for the users, the IELTS takers, because not all students are typical students. Some students are dyslexic, where the wordy options are not really favorable for them, and it's just more distracting and annoying and unfair. That's why this new instruction has been made and adjusted to accommodate all learners' diversity. Second strategy, Lucky.
Okay, underline the keywords before blank 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 and after blank blank blank.
From my point of view, what you need to underline is before and after the blank space, right? Because that would be mentioned in the audio, perhaps in synonyms. So for example, here, you need to know number 31. So what would you underline for number 31, Luki?
Sorry?
So based on that instruction, based on that strategy from Kobi, underline the keywords before and after the blank space. So this is blank space, right? 31. So what words would you underline and focus on here?
Power source.
That's the after blank space. What about before blank space?
Small.
No.
Characteristics.
Yeah, that is the clue, yeah? You also need to be aware of small because that would be mentioned, and then afterwards it's gonna be the blank space, right? But I would probably underline characteristics and power source, yeah? Or if you rather underline everything, it's up to you. But you need to read or skim everything anyway? Iksan, third strategy from Kobi, please.
The answers are almost 90% nouns and noun phrases.
Can you please give me the examples of nouns?
Oh, the example of nouns like table.
What about noun phrases?
Noun phrases like red table.
Here, can you find any noun phrases here?
Power source.
Yes, power source or business cultures. Those
Oh,
are the
yes.
examples of noun phrases. Next. Rangga, strategy number 4 from Kobi, please.
It is important to note that you must follow the flow of the recording. If recorder has mentioned keywords, for example, power, culture, or small, that will be your clue that number 31 is going to be discussed soon.
And if you miss this, if you unluckily missed this or did not hear any clues about it, what would you do, Rangga?
Just focus on the after keywords.
Yes, yes. Skip it and move on, yeah? Focus on number 32. Next, communication by blah, blah, blah. Make sure you get the next one, okay? This is easy said than done. So you have to practice this because I was trying so hard, not so I'm type of student or person who is not really easy to ikhlas or let go. I tend to overthink and be perfectionist, and that's a really drawback in IELTS because sometimes it's just not about you. It's just not about you being dumb or being budak or whatever. It's just perhaps the accent or the quality of the audio. So it's not always about you being dumb or budak. It's just maybe other factors. So you have to be mindful of this and just let go, skip it and move on. Focus on the next one to catch the next answers. All right, enough for the theory. Let's do the practice. It's going to be longer because it's section 4 or part 4. So there are going to be 10 questions. Can you please confirm if you can see this clearly? Is it feasible? Is it okay? Can you please give me thumbs up if this is okay? Hello? Okay. Because it's going to be unfair for you who have visual stress or minus or plus doing this not feasible, yeah? But hopefully it's clear enough because I cannot slideshow. I cannot slideshow, unfortunately. Okay, now I'm gonna check the audio first.
Part 4. You will hear a history student giving part of a presentation about changes in British society in the 19th century. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
There's gonna be a preparation time. It's gonna be longer than previous sections or parts. So it's about 1 minute for you to read all the clues, all the blank spaces in part 4 or section 4. So make the best use of this 1 minute. You have to skim it as fast as you can, but make sure you get the main idea of it, yeah? So for example, you got the instruction right, one word only, and you have read the title, How the Industrial Revolution Affected Life in Britain. And then you skim all of it. 1 minute, it's very short. So make sure you skim it like very fast. Okay? And another strategy for me personally, you can guess the blank space actually. You can guess the grammar, you can guess the vocabulary, potentially. For example, number 31, yeah? We got the main clue here, the time being in 19th century. For the first time, people's possessions were used to measure Britain's blah, blah, blah. I'm assuming this must be a noun because Britain's blah, 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 this must be possessive noun, right? Measure Britain's finance maybe, or measure Britain's property. So property is a noun, miliknya Britain's, yeah? So what I'm doing here, I'm guessing the grammar. I'm guessing the potential vocabulary that could be the answer key. That would be helpful for you to navigate and follow the audio, okay? So why not try this? Luki, can you please try that strategy for number 32? Read first and guess. Luki?
Yeah, I still have no idea right now.
Read out loud first.
Developments in production of goods and in blank 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 greatly changed lives.
Can you guess the grammar? It's hard, isn't it? I
Yeah.
know. I know. Even me because this is my world, yeah. I have bachelor's and master's degree in TESOL. So, okay. So if you are really good at grammar, this would be great. This would be potentially beneficial for you. For example, here, maybe you have noticed. Well, let me just find the crucial here. And the conjunction and is supposed to be parallel, right? So we have in production in here and in here. So it's supposed to be the same. It's supposed to be similar. It's supposed to be parallel in structure or grammar. Okay? So if we have production of goods, okay, so this could be similar, similar to production of goods. Instead, it's going to be one word only, but it's going to be probably, most likely, a noun because goods is a noun. Production is a noun. So by knowing this, you would get easier to find the word from the speaker, yeah? Okay? Something like that. Kintara, can you try number 33?
The Industrial Revolution would not have happened without the new types of that were used then. I don't know, maybe a noun?
Yeah. It most likely is a noun, yeah? Can be adjective and a noun, but it's only one word. So must be a noun. Charlene, 34.
The leading industry was its products become widely available. Industry was I don't know.
Iksan,
Yes.
can you guess 34?
34. The leading industry was it's probably it's probably a noun.
Okay, Rangga, do you agree with Iksan?
Yes, because there is an off there.
34.
Or 34. Was yes, because there is a note that there is product. So it should be a noun.
Okay. Thank you for trying. Ada Taki mention on the meeting chat. I think it'd be an adjective. Yes. You see, Taki bilang bisa aja adjektif. Iksan sama siapa tadi bilang? Kintara bilang sama Iksan bilang. Rangga sama Iksan, sorry. Bilang bisa aja noun. Nah, kenapa? Karena bisa jadi keduanya, teman-teman ya. The leading industry was punah misalnya. Punah kan adjektif ya. Atau juga bisa menjadi the leading industry was can be a noun, kecantikan juga bisa. Tapi nggak mungkin verb. Oh, bisa aja verb ya. Nggak mungkin verb satu. Nggak mungkin was do. Nggak mungkin verb satu karena was harus ketemu sama verb apa, teman-teman. Ada yang tahu nggak? Apakah setelah was itu boleh verb?
Verb ing.
Exactly,
Boleh.
nggak mungkin verb satu, nggak mungkin verb dua, nggak mungkin verb tiga. Kita bilangnya base verb, past tense sama past participle nggak mungkin, tapi mungkinnya progressive verb atau verb ing. You see, this is the benefits. This is a benefit for you if you can analyze and guess the grammar and the vocabulary. But it takes time and practice a lot. Okay, but that is my personal recommendation and strategy if you can adopt it in your official IELTS test. Karena tidak dimention di strateginya Kobi di slide sebelumnya. So hopefully you can try it later if it's it's something that you can try and you can adapt it. Why not? All right, I think that is the final theory from me, the final strategy from Kobe. So now let's try the practice, yeah? All right, I'm gonna play the audio in 3, 2, 1. Good luck, everyone.
Part 4. You will hear a history student giving part of a presentation about changes in British society in the 19th century. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Hi everyone. In this session, I'll be presenting my research about the social history of Britain during the Industrial Revolution. I particularly looked at how ordinary lives were affected by changes that happened at that time. This was a time that saw the beginning of a new phenomenon, consumerism, where buying and selling goods became a major part of ordinary people's lives. In fact, it was in the 19th century that the quantity and quality of people's possessions was used as an indication of the wealth of the country. Before this, the vast majority of people had very few possessions, but all that was changed by the Industrial Revolution. This was the era from the mid-18th to the late 19th century, when improvements in how goods were made, as well as in technology, triggered massive social changes that transformed life for just about everybody in several key areas. First, let's look at manufacturing. When it comes to manufacturing, we tend to think of the Industrial Revolution in images of steam engines and coal. And it's true that the Industrial Revolution couldn't have taken place at all if it weren't for these new sources of power. They marked an important shift away from the traditional watermills and windmills that had dominated before this. The most advanced industry for much of the 19th century was textiles. This meant that fashionable fabrics and lace and ribbons were made available to everyone. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people made goods to sell in small workshops, often in their own homes. But enormous new machines were now being created that could produce the goods faster and on a larger scale, and these required a lot more space. So large factories were built, replacing the workshops and forcing workers to travel to work. In fact, large numbers of people migrated from villages into towns as a result. As well as manufacturing, there were new technologies in transport, contributing to the growth of consumerism. The horse-drawn stagecoaches and carts of the 18th century, which carried very few people and goods and travelled slowly along poorly surfaced roads, were gradually replaced by the numerous canals that were constructed. These were particularly important for the transportation of goods. The canals gradually fell out of use, though, as railways were developed, becoming the main way of moving goods and people from one end of the country to the other. And the goods they moved weren't just coal, iron, clothes, and so on. Significantly, they included newspapers, which meant that thousands of people were not only more knowledgeable about what was going on in the country, but could also read about what was available in the shops. And that encouraged them to buy more. So faster forms of transport resulted in distribution becoming far more efficient. Goods could now be sold all over the country instead of just in the local market. The third main area that saw changes that contributed to consumerism was retailing. The number and quality of shops grew rapidly, and in particular, small shops suffered as customers flocked to the growing number of department stores, a form of retailing that was new in the 19th century. The entrepreneurs who opened these found new ways to stock them with goods and to attract customers. For instance, improved lighting inside greatly increased the visibility of the goods for sale. Another development that made goods more visible from outside resulted from the use of plate glass, which made it possible for windows to be much larger than previously. New ways of promoting goods were introduced too. Previously, the focus had been on informing potential customers about the availability of goods. Now, there was an explosion in advertising trying to persuade people to go shopping. Flanders claims that one of the great effects of the Industrial Revolution was that it created choice. All sorts of things that had previously been luxuries, from sugar to cutlery, became conveniences, and before long they turned into necessities. Life without sugar or cutlery was unimaginable, rather like mobile phones these days.
That is the end of part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 4.
Test, am I audible? I'm sorry, everyone. I got locked out because my lights were just off. Now I'm back. Okay. Can you please resend your answers because I cannot see your submissions? Thank you. And Ranga, can you please make me as the host? Can I claim the host back? Thank you. All right, thank you so much for sending your resubmissions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you, Kintara, Taki, Charlene, Lucky, and Ranga. Ihsan, where's your answers? Ihsan, you there? Ihsan? Can you please submit your 10 answers, please? Okay, while waiting for Ihsan, can I try? Can we three? Oh, wait. Okay. Can I have Ranga? Ranga, can you please try number 31, please?
You well,
Mm-hmm. And 32?
social.
Okay. I agree with number 31, but I don't really agree with number 32. Anyone got number 32? Charlene, what's your answer for number 32?
Technology.
Yes, it's supposed to be technology. And Kintara, 33, please.
Power,
Mm-hmm. Thank you. 34, Kintara.
textile,
Yes. And how do you pronounce it? Sorry, how
tech,
do you spell it? How do you spell it?
Textiles.
Yes, with or without S is all right.
With. Oh,
Either way is okay.
okay.
35, Rangga.
Goods.
35 is not good. Lucky, 35. But thank you for trying, Rangga.
Machine
With S or without S?
without S.
Mm-hmm. The answer key is supposed to be with S, but my answer that I wrote here is actually without S. So we're going to check after this.
Way of moving goods and people from one end of the country to the other. And the goods they moved weren't just coal, iron, clothes, and so on. Significantly, they included newspapers, had a lot more space. So large factories were built, replacing the workshops and forcing workers to travel to work. In fact, large numbers of people migrated from villages into towns as a result. As well as manufacturing, there were new technologies in transport, contributing to the growth of consumerism. The horse-drawn stagecoaches and carts. This meant that fashionable fabrics and lace and ribbons were made available to everyone. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people made goods to sell in small workshops, often in their own homes. But enormous new machines were now being created that could produce the goods. New machines were now being created.
I didn't hear the S, but probably it's supposed to be with S because after machines, there's another word N or new, which starts with consonant sound. That's why the S is not really pronounced. This is tricky. That's why we're gonna Google if machine is plural. I suppose it can be both. Yes, so either machine or machines are right. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Lucky, your answer is machine without S, yeah?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got it wrong. Your answer and mine are not right. Why? Anyone knows why it's supposed to be with S? Machine itu bisa singular. Kalau singular, nounnya selalu harus pakai a atau an. For example, an apple, a laptop, kecuali nounnya uncountable, seperti sugar, salt, and dan lain-lain. Machine bisa singular, dan di sini tidak ada a atau an, tidak ada the. Jadi, karena ada new doang, it must be plural. This is why you have to check the grammar. Karena kalau seperti ini, S sama with or without es itu bisa ditentukan dengan menganalisa artikel dari sini. Karena tidak ada artikel di sini tidak mungkin singular, ya. Makanya harus S. Makanya kunci jawabannya machines with S. Okay? It's alright, Lucky, you're not alone. We're just humans after all. 36. Ihsan? Ihsan? You there? Charlene? 36, please.
Newspapers.
With S, yes. Rangga, 37.
Actually, I'm not sure about the answers.
What's your guess?
Consumerism, consumer, yeah.
Okay, Xan noted. No, it's not consumerism. Oh, wait, what? It's not consumerism. Any other ideas? Lucky?
I haven't answered it yet.
Okay, Kintara?
Me too. I missed it. I did not answer.
Oke. Taki juga nggak dapat ya. 37-nya. Coba kita cek sama-sama. Oh, sorry.
That could produce the goods faster and on a larger scale, and these required a lot more space. So large factories were built, replacing the workshops and forcing workers to travel to work. In fact, large numbers of people migrated from villages into towns as a result. As well as manufacturing, there were new technologies in transport, contributing to the growth of consumerism. The horse-drawn stagecoaches and carts of the 18th century, which carried very few people and goods and travelled slowly along poorly surfaced roads, were gradually replaced by the numerous canals that were constructed. These were particularly important for the transportation of goods. The canals gradually fell out of use, though, as railways were developed, becoming the main way of moving goods and people from one end of the country to the other. And the goods they moved weren't just coal, iron, clothes, and so on. Significantly, they included newspapers, which meant that thousands of people were not only more knowledgeable about what was going on in the country, but could also read about what was available in the shops. And that encouraged them to buy more. So faster forms of transport
Be aware, after this is the answer.
resulted in distribution becoming far more efficient. Goods could now be sold all over the country instead of just in the local market. The third main area...
Did you catch that? When shopping, people were not limited to buying blah 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 goods. Yes, it's supposed to be local because by having this new transport massively, they can transport to the whole of the country, yeah? Thank you, Taki. 38. Back to Charlene.
38. Lighting.
Yes. Lucky, 39.
Windows.
Yes, and last but not least, 40, Rangga.
Advertising.
Yes, advertising with a capital A. Jadi, karena dia huruf pertama, harus kapitalisasi dimulai oleh kapitalisasi A atau kapitalisasi semua. Ya, jadi hati-hati kalau di tengah atau di akhir kecil, lowercase. Tapi kalau di awalan harus diawali dengan kapital atau alternatifnya biar nggak bingung kapital semua. I apologize everyone for not having more time to discuss on this because we are running out of time. So please check your answers again and try to listen to the audio again after the class, and you can access all the materials, the questions, and the audio from the slides provided on your Google Classroom. Now we only have 10 minutes left, and I'm also sorry for that. But the good things is that we can have this constructive and comprehensive discussions regarding the strategies on your IELTS listening test, differentiating part 1 or section 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, we are supposed to get 3 question types for reading, but because we only have 9 minutes left, I'm just gonna sum it up into just one big strategy. It's about skimming and scanning and paraphrasing. That is the whole idea about reading, IELTS reading test. Okay, so you don't need to be confused about it. Although there are so many question types on IELTS reading tests, for example, this types of questions, we're gonna try the multiple choice, yeah? There are only 4 questions, and I want you to do this 4 minutes. I'm going to send the questions on the chat box. Wait, how do I share file? Oh, I cannot send a file on the chat box. So alternatively, you have to see my screen. Oops. Sorry for that. Okay, can you please screenshot these 4 questions? Screenshot it, please. Screenshot the questions, only 4 questions. And I'm going to show the paragraphs, yeah? Please give me thumbs ups if you have screenshot these 4 questions. Thumbs up, have you done it? Thank you. Thank you. Lucky, Charlene, Kintara, Taki, Iksan. Okay, cool. You have 4 minutes to do this. Start 4 to 5 minutes. Start from now. Good luck. All right, everyone, we are really running out of time and I don't want to take your nights off. So please focus on the first paragraph and the first question. I want you to find the tipping points or the major clues for answering question number one. And I want you to find the paraphrasing system. How does it look like in IELTS reading passages? If you have got the answer, please submit it on the chat box. Just for number one. We're going to discuss it immediately for number one. Okay, Luki. Luki, can you please read the first paragraph?
Okay. Uh, the general assumption is that older workers are paid more in spite of, rather than because of their productivity. That might partly explain why. When employers are under pressure to cut costs, they persuade a 55-year-old to take early retirement, take away seniority-based pay scales, and older workers may become a much more attractive employment proposition. But most employers and many workers are uncomfortable with the idea of reducing someone's pay in later life. Although manual workers on piece rates often earn less as they get older, so retaining the services of older workers may mean employing them in different ways.
Thank you so much, Lucky, for reading it out loud, the first paragraph. Ideally, we have to read the questions first, yeah? So, Charlene, can you please help me read the question and the four options, please? Out loud.
In paragraph 1, the author suggests that the company should consider A. Abolishing pay schemes that are based on age. B. Avoiding pay that is based on piece rates. C. Increasing pay for older workers. D. Equipping older workers with new skills.
Okay. Thank you, Charlene, for reading it out loud. And thank you, Luki and Taki, for submitting your answers. I'm still waiting for the others. Charlene, Rangga, Kintara, dan Ihsan. Please submit your answer for number one only. Thank you, Kintara. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Luki. Ihsan is probably still away from the keyboard. So I'm gonna go back to Luki. Luki, why do you think it's B? Avoiding pay that is based on piece rates. Why? Where's the clue?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really focus on the clue, but I just skim the passage that the first paragraph talk more about the retirement and about pay, I guess. So I just be because of that.
That's very dangerous, Luki. But thank you for trying. But that was my mistake years ago. I tend to just, look at the vocabulary and oh, there's piece rates, and I think it's about that. And oh, I just answer the most, you know, convenient one. And that is very dangerous in IELTS because I'm talking about the IELTS makers or the creators, they do not make it that easy. It's too good to be true. Good to, it's too be easy to be true, yeah? It's too easy to be true. That's why if you look at these piece rates here and you get that on the option, probably that is not the answer, yeah? Why? Because the key is all about paraphrasing. So find the paraphrasing system. Anyone can help me? Taki, I would love to go with Taki, but Taki cannot be audio, cannot unmute himself. So let's see from Rangga. Rangga, what's your answer for number 1? Tiga menit lagi ya guys. I'm really sorry for taking your time over. Hmm. Oh, Rangga is not here. Okay, Taki, go ahead. Go ahead, Taki. Taki, what's your answer for number 1?
So, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes.
My answer for number 1 is A. Abolishing pay scheme that are based on age.
Okay, can you find the synonyms for abolishing, pay schemes, and based on age from the paragraph 1?
The takeaway seniority-based pay scale.
Takeaway is what?
Abolishing.
Exactly. Takeaway is the synonym for abolishing. Next, seniority base is?
Seniority base is like the age base.
Yes, based
Based on
on
age.
age. And pay schemes?
Like pay scales in the paragraph.
Exactly. You have found the 3 changes in keywords. This is the paraphrasing system in IELTS. That is the beauty, strategy of IELTS reading, yeah? You are not only skimming and scanning, but you're also paraphrasing, okay? Skimming, scanning, paraphrasing. And why these keywords, why these paraphrases words are the answers, Taki?
I think because the first sentence is the general assumption is that older workers are paid more in spite of their productivity. And I think
Yes, you're right. So soalnya kan adalah di paragraf 1, writernya tuh menyarankan apa sih terhadap kepada companies-nya untuk mempertimbangkan apa. Kita sudah paraphrase ya. Dan kalau dibaca setelah itu, ini, nah, take away seniority-based pay scales and older workers may become a much more attractive employment preposition. Becoming a much more attractive, is it positive or negative? It's a positive preposition, yes? That's why it's something that the author suggested from the first paragraph. That's why the right answer is A or alpha, yeah? So the keys for your IELTS reading test, skim it or scan it. Don't forget to paraphrase it and make sure the questions is answering based on the paragraphs, yes? Our time is up. Thank you so much for coming today, everyone. Please check the rest of the materials that we haven't covered today on the slides provided on Google Classroom, and please do it by yourself. And please, I'm hoping that you have learned something today. Take all the notes, all the strategies from Kobi and from myself. It's been a pleasure to learn with you all. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Assalamualaikum. Bye-bye.